Hey, so good morning. Wicked proud of myself. I got out at 7:38 this morning. Up at 6 and out at 7:38. But then again, I did not have to take down a tent because I did have room in the shelter. And I didn't, my bear hang. I didn't even have to go retrieve my bear hang because this really nice guy, Renegade, last night offered to put my bag on his bear hang. And that it was just so funny because he had just got back to the shelter. I'd seen Renegade. I'm starting to see faces. You know, maybe not at the next shelter, but then the one after that. These are people who are clearly doing similar miles, and so we're bound to see each other, though we're not hiking together. So he had just got back to the shelter and said, okay, bear bag has securely hung. And I said, oh, good. Now go find me a tree. Because that was, like, to me, going to be the hardest part. There were the trees that we were surrounded by last night. They were the type that had no branches for like 100 feet up. And I'm sitting here going, well, my rope is 50 feet. So even if I could throw a rock, which I cannot, 100 feet in the air. And he goes, just so nice. He goes, I can throw your bag on my bear hang. And I was like, are you kidding? And I said to him, oh, it's so funny. I said, oh my gosh, if you would do that, you'll be my new best friend. And it was so funny. He had this look of, it was like a stunned look. Like he's probably thinking, oh dear God, I don't need her as my new best friend, you know? And then this other girl, which she's actually, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She's so nice. She just cracked up. So which, you know what, can I tell you how nice this was? Because I am not conventional. I'm the one over here with my Nalgene bottle, and I need to heat the water and put it in so I can warm up my sleeping bag. And I don't want to do that until like right before I go to bed, right? So, and it's not that my stove needs to go in the bear bag, but my pot does. Anything that could have food residue has to go into the food bag. So I said, just a warning. I said, I tend to hang my bag late because I need to do something late. And he said, that's fine. Again, wicked nice guy. So, and he did it. It was 7 o'clock. I would have waited till 8, but I'm like, I am pushing it. So 7 o'clock, he went back into the woods. Not quite dark yet, so that was all right. And then this morning, he was up before me. I set my alarm for 6. It goes off. I shut it off. He looks at me. He goes, good morning. So he was 90% packed. I don't know how long he'd been up, but he goes, your food bag's right over there. I was like, wow. And so here, I'm thinking this morning as I'm walking, and I have a moment where I'm by myself. So I thought I just wanted to share with you that I am having, like, the people that I am meeting, I just like the nicest people. I have not met any jerks yet. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt myself like I typically do. All right, do you see this? All fog, right? And then I looked this way. Woohoo! Blue skies. Oh, they say it's going to be a nice day today. I am counting on it. So I've only met nice people. Somebody did tell me they met a jerk, and that broke my heart. But more on that in a minute. So last night I get into the shelter and I discover that there is 0 cell service. It's just that SOS. I suppose I could have pushed that and said, would you please tell my husband I made it to the shelter safely? I think they would not be appreciative of that. So I'm thinking, shoot, my husband is a guy. So really strange, in the middle of my story, my phone just stopped recording. And I didn't even know it. I'd been blathering on for minutes and didn't even know. But what you last saw was me reaching down to pick up a little litter. It was Scooby Snacks. Scooby Snacks. Best cartoon ever of my generation. Anyway, can't pick up all the litter, but I'll pick up what I can. And there's really not a lot. I'm quite impressed. I mean, you don't even know. You think you put that in your back pocket, but it fell down. I get it. I don't suspect there's any intentional littering on the AT. I really don't. I pray I'm not littering anywhere. Anyway, so, God, I don't even know what I said anymore. So I was at the SOS. So there's this guy. I had seen him lots of times. His name is Long Hauler, and he is Long Haul Trucker, obvious. Maybe that's obvious. And wicked nice guy, he seems. I've seen him on the trail. He has passed through shelters that I've stayed at. He's never stayed at a shelter. Apparently, he does very long miles every day. He has no problem hiking straight into the dark. I don't want to pitch a tent in the dark, so heaven help me if I get there after dark and there's no shelter space and I now have to pitch my tent in the dark. I would not be happy, so I prefer not to do it that way. But he was passing through. The rain was supposed to stop soon, and he just wanted to wait it out. So, knowing that he was continuing on, and he was actually he was going 5 miles, I think. Anyway, he was going further. And I said, hey, would you mind if I texted my husband? And I'll send it, with his phone. I'll send it. It'll fail. But maybe once you reach some cell service, you could do the try again feature or whatever. He was more than happy to do that, right? I know it wasn't a lot to ask, but we're out here all just trying to survive, really, right? I'm going to put that farther. We're all just trying to survive. And really, adding even one more thing can put you over the edge sometimes. But he was more than happy to do it. In fact, he goes, I said, I don't know how to send this. His phone is very different than mine. And he goes, well, as long as I have the phone number, I'll just text him and say, saw Trinity at the shelter, she's alive. I said, you know what? That would be fine. My husband would be okay with that. If you would do that much. So, anyway. But, so the girl that laughed when I told Renegade I'd be his new best friend, I had seen her the night of the tent debacle. That night. That was the most unpleasant night I've had on the trail. But guess what? The next day it was sun shining and I was a whole new person. And that's how it is. Okay, there it is. That's how it works. If you're having a moment, go crawl in a hole till it passes because, So let me tell you how that went down. I get into, you know most of the story. I was just overwhelmed. I was a frazzled mess. I was holding on by a thread. And I'm trying to figure out, where I'm going to pitch my tent. I got to go do the bear hang. I'm deciding what's for dinner. As you know, that was pretty crude, my little dinner. So she is living her best life in that moment. She's hiking with her boyfriend. Her tent is set. Her bag is hung. Her bed is set up. She's just making her dinner, living her best life. And so she's happy. And when you're in that mood and the happy people are just talking and being happy, and sometimes that's a very frustrating thing. I know because it's usually me who's the happy person. I'm usually the talkative happy person, not knowing that I should just shut up because you're ready to smack me across the head. Just go away for a short while. Anyway, so look at that sun. Woo-hoo! Anyway, okay, so she then says to me, would you mind if I put my toiletry bag on your bear hang? And honest to God, I did not think that I could process one more thing in that moment. I just really didn't think I could. And I was like stunned, motionless. I start stammering because, again, I have barely gotten anywhere with my evening, and it's not going well at all. And, I think by this point, I did know there was no room in the shelter, and my tent was broken. So, she said, can I show you bear hang? And it's not a lot to ask. It's really not, as you know. But I start stammering, and now I feel terrible because I'm like, I want to say no. My instinct is to say no because I feel like I can't carry one more thing on my back right now, right? On this load that I'm feeling emotionally. But then reasonable heads prevailed because I have a philosophy. My kids will tell you that I don't live it every day. I think it's something that I have gotten much better at as I've gotten older. But my bad day is not your problem to solve, you know? And my bad day is not something I need to give you. My bad day is my problem and stays with me. And if it, like I said, if it's so bad that I can't even be nice, then go crawl in a hole till it passes. Because it will, as it did. So after I stammer for a few minutes and she's just staring at me with this big smile on her face, I said, of course, yes. It wasn't a lot to ask. I said, of course, yes. And then I must have said it yes like 9 times to make up for my hesitation because I felt that the hesitation was just too rude to live. So what ended up happening is she ended up helping me, right? So when I was ready to do the bear hang, I had to go now it's dark, got my headlamp on, I'm trying to find a tree. You know what, any other day it would have been hysterical, but the first 2 tree branches that we threw it on broke. So I could not believe it. So then the third one we throw it on, it holds, but my hands were, she saw, my hands were shaking so bad and my fingers, I couldn't even, do it. So I said, could you hold the rope down? Because I'm having a hard time with this knot. And she's like, of course I can do it. Well, let me just tell you, by the time we were done, it was a perfect looking bear hang, but it was so low that bear could have just walked over and said, thank you very much. He did not have to climb anything to get at it. And I just said, you know what? I'm done. And she goes, yeah, me too. And we decided there were so many people at the shelter that probably the bears were going to stay away anyway, but luckily it was still there in the morning. But I guess all that to say, you know what, I really don't know if I talked about, okay. Hey, so I just wanted to speak a little more on, Karen's ramblings and philosophy on life. Is this what you signed up for when you started following me? I don't know. If it's too much, stop now. Go to the next video. I'm going to talk more about why I chose that shelter and getting to Fontana Dam. Okay. But on the jerk, the one jerk that is supposedly on the trail right now that I haven't met. He used, the guy who was telling me about him, he mentioned him. He didn't go on and on and on. He said, I've met one jerk. He used a far more flavorful expletive. Suffice it, I will use jerk. So, sorry, I've got a dry throat. Probably should drink some water. So, it's sad. I know I don't always. When I am being mistreated or treated poorly, it's very hard to have the philosophy I'm about to speak on, but I often get there after the fact. Sometimes during it, but it depends on the mood I'm having, right? If I'm already at my wit's end, it's very, very hard to be patient and gracious. But when somebody is being a jerk, I think it's got to be, it's not, people don't set out to be jerks. I don't think people are born with the intention to go through life being a jerk. I think it's a learned behavior. I believe it is a self-preservation mechanism because somewhere along the line, life was not good to them. And this is how they learned to handle what they couldn't handle. They're broken, right? It's a brokenness. And I often think to myself, who broke you? Because whoever it was wrong. You know, you matter. You are important. Maybe no one told you that growing up. Maybe somewhere along the line, people gave you the impression that you didn't matter. And so as a result, you can barely live with yourself. And so this is how you cope, by not being very nice and by mistreating others, because then you feel like you have some power. But you don't need that power. You matter, with or without the upper hand. Anyway, I often feel bad for them and try to pray for them, which, like I said, is after the fact. It's rarely in the throes of it. Most of the time I can say I hold myself together, but there have been times when I have retaliated, and I'm embarrassed to say. But I think I am human. No, I don't think that. I know it. And I am flawed. You know, I think by now you figured out that I'm a Christian. I'm not going to sit here and pound my Christian beliefs on you. I know in this culture right now, it is frowned upon. But I am a Christian. And I got to tell you, there's, you know, we all talk about, you know, everyone talks about, oh, have faith in Jesus Christ, you will go to heaven. Yes, that is true. You know, I believe it. But there is so much more. There is so many more gifts to be had in knowing Jesus before that day comes, before my Father in heaven calls me home. I'll tell you, probably the greatest gift for me, I've said it and I believe it and I've experienced it, is the peace that transcends all understanding. I have been through some dark valleys. You know, my life is not perfect. It never has been. But since knowing the Lord, somehow I get through it with a hope and a joy that doesn't make an ounce of sense. Doesn't make an ounce of sense. Because I should be miserable. I should be thinking this is honestly the end of the world. And I'm not. Because there's this, I'll tell you what it is, Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit in me is there saying, it's not the end of the world. You're going to get through this. You're a strong person. You're a good person. You have me. Now, I may not be hearing those words, but that is the internal messaging. And I don't just subscribe to the philosophy. I am legit feeling it. I heard it when, here's one little, it's not a Christian, I don't know, cliche? Quote. Let's call it a quote. I don't think it's a cliche. And I have often told my kids this. If you think it's the end of the world, it's probably not. Most often it's just sad and disappointing. So let's start that again. I was glancing over here. Sorry, I get so distracted here. I'm going to let you see it. Woo, so beautiful. I can't even bear it. And I don't know how many times I can say that before you guys get so bored of hearing it. So I just can't help it. Okay, so most often it is not the end of the world. No matter how you feel, it is not the end of the world. It's merely sad and disappointing. And sad and disappointing we can handle. And if I try to remember that all the time when things just seem to be spiraling out of control. It is merely sad and disappointing we can handle. So this is what I have, this gift I have to be able to look at life that, you know, because I know the Lord, that it's always going to be okay. It's going to be okay every single hour of every day until my daddy calls me home. And then it's going to be really great. Really, really, really great. Okay. I think that's it. You know what? I'm going to keep talking because I know for my daughter's editing purposes, I could stop the video and say new subject, but it's just harder for her to do that. As we know, I haven't even gotten started. So this is day like 11 or 12. I've lost track. And I've not gotten one video out. You guys have all been super patient. So in an effort to help my daughter, I'm going to just continue with my last thought. And I just wanted to share that there was an additional, I don't even know how many reasons I gave last night, but there was an additional reason why I wanted the shelter that I chose. And that's because it was much lower in elevation. It was 2,800 feet up. And I think the one previous that I could have stopped at was 37 or 38. And I thought, you know what? It was supposed to be a wicked cold night again last night. And I thought lower elevation, less cold. And I was right. I was cold, don't get me wrong, but I was a whole lot more comfortable than I've been. And part of that, I think, truly is because I've been at much higher elevation. Now we're headed, after Fontana Dam, I'm headed into the Smokies. Smokies gets up in, if not 6,000 feet, very close. And I've heard it's going to be cold. So, fun. But that's okay. I can do all things. You know what? I've put myself out here. I chose it. Now, deal with it, Karen. That's how I see it. Deal with it. And I will deal with it. Even if I have to get up in the middle of the night and do a second Nalgene bottle. Anyway, all right. I think that's it. I did start the day with a big climb. I love when I start the day with a big climb because it warms me up fast. And, yeah. So, and the elevation gain today isn't much at all. I've been doing like anywhere between 37 and 44 feet of elevation gain per day. And today, I forget what I saw. I looked quick, but I think it was like 1,200. Anyway, I'm only going to Fontana Dam. I am going to do a short day. I know I just did a short day. I think short days are good. Once in a while, it's kind of like training for a race. You got to have the hard days, the hard, long days, but you have to have a light day. Give your muscles a break. It's also ideal, and I follow this very strictly, to have a full day off, a 0 day, as we call it on the trail. But I am not following that strictly here. Short days for me, I'm like when I did that 8-mile hike the other day, maybe it was 7, I barely felt like I moved. I don't say that to brag or anything. I'm just, after doing so many 15 and 20s, 15 to 20s, felt like I didn't even move. So I think a light day works. There will be 0 days, but I'm saving those for towns or whatever that are really fun, or horrific weather, or I just really need a break. So I'm abiding by the same training philosophy that I would for a race. And a light day every once in a while is good. Today I'm going to do a light day because I'm going to be in Fontana Dam. And really, so I guess I misunderstood. I always do. I'm going to pass by. So the trail passes by a marina, the Fontana Dam Marina. But town is further away. But there is a shuttle service that comes 3 times a day. So this is what this is like really the crux to my short day, because by the time I get to Fontana Dam Marina, where the shuttle will pick me up, the next shuttle's 12. So now half the day's gone, right? So it doesn't matter what time I get there. Actually, there's a 9 o'clock shuttle, but I'm not going to be there by 9. So I'm going to be there by long before the 12, but that's why I have to wait for it. Then I'm going to go into town and I'm going to resupply. I am in desperate need again of toilet paper and peanut butter. I want peanut butter. I don't know if I talked about that already, but there was no peanut butter at the knock, and I was very disappointed. So I'm gonna go get resupply, get some food. And then then I have to wait for the shuttle, which is 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I got to wait in town till 4 o'clock to come back. Then it's a mile to the shelter. So by then the whole day, right? So that's why. That's why it's a short day, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. I'm told that they have some restaurants and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what Fontana Dam area brings. And one last glimpse that way, because it's just too perfect to miss. And I'll let you know what Fontana Dam looks like. Okay, bye-bye. Not sure what that is. I don't think that's the marina. So I guess, yes, this was the marina. I don't know why, water, like boats. You'd think, marina. I didn't think it was. I guess I was expecting a much bigger building. I've seen marinas that are more like banquet halls and people have weddings at them, like in Rhode Island. So I guess I just didn't think this looked like a marina. I thought it looked like kind of a dock or something. But I'm going to check because the app we use, and I really think every thru hiker has it, it's by far the best. It's incredible all that it does for me. It's called Far Out. Used to be Gut Hook. Now it's Far Out. Anyway, not thinking this was the marina, it said that the marina was like a 10th away. Yeah, this direction. I thought it meant further up on the AT, so I went further up on the AT about 2/10 and said, something doesn't seem right here. So I pulled out Far Out, and I'm able to push a little GPS button, which then shows me my exact location, and I had passed it. So this must be it. I'm going to go find out. I can't be the first to ask and be wrong if it isn't, but I don't know where else it would be. I saw no other building. And I'm sure it's the parking lot where I have to wait, but I was told that the marina itself would have like a place for me to charge my phone and stuff, and I can catch up on messages and see what's going on in the world. So see, now that I've done this in this, like my phone up and down, I want to so badly turn it, but I know that doesn't work. It'll just turn it sideways for you. So look at the sparkling water off the anyway, the sun sparkling off the water, and it's just like, oh my gosh. I haven't seen this in a while. Seeing a lot of trees, sticks, roots, rocks, stinky hikers, me included. But this is just a whole nother level of beautiful, or a whole nother different kind of beautiful. It is not any more beautiful than the woods, because I think the woods are the most beautiful place in the world to be. All right, let's see. It says Fontana Village Resort. Oh, is this a resort? Oh my gosh. I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, well, let's go ask questions, shall we? Okay, bye. I wanted to show you my second resupply attempt. Penny candy, with $10 a pound. I got some of these triple dip malt balls. I got 2, cost me 75 cents. Then it goes along the other side. They get all kinds of, touristy things, but that's not what I wanted to show you. And then there's all kinds of candy over there. But I got a kick out of this. So a few toiletries, yes. Look, Lillian, Topo, but mixers, tonic water and ginger beer. More toiletries. And then here's where my selection begins. Oh, well, no more toiletries. Oh, gotta have that. Got lots of that. Okay, look at this. Okay, Vienna sausages, puke. I don't even have a can opener, so none of this is going to work. Oh, there's a pop top. I suppose I could heat it in my thing. I suppose it, but it's very heavy. Look at this, sardines. Yeah, I think they're like good for, I don't know, protein or something. Tuna, 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 tuna. Okay, more of this. Yep, nope. Then we go over here. Spam singles. Who could live without that? Tuna, 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 tuna. Oh, let's turn the corner. Tuna, 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 tuna. And then these disgusting things that I call poison side dishes back home. And poison ramen. Okay. I heard this brand was gross. Okay. Guess what? More tuna. There isn't a pouch of chicken to be had. Oh, some salmon, in case you're feeling elegant. And we got bars. Bars galore. Yes, I stocked up on bars. And we got chips. I bought some chips at a different place. Cost me $2.12. Okay, then we go, yep, I grabbed me some peanut butter. No jelly, weighs too much. And all kinds of stuff here. I mean, there's people, oh, coffee. Ooh, that's what I wondered, if I had enough coffee. Well, you know what? I'm not buying that massive thing, so forget it. I'll just have to live. Ooh, should I get some poison hot chocolate? Ooh, that sounds really good. I may come back for that. And then we've got all, you know what, there's people who come here that are not just hikers, so my option, I see that spot right there, took the last pita bread. Then we've got, you know, little granola bars. I was tempted, but I bought a big thing of granola before, right? Did get 2 of these, cashews. I got a bunch of that, don't need that. And more of this. But anyway, let me show you. And then we got this. We got all these meals. I bought this. So I took Val, I took your advice and went with a pad thai chicken. And, right there. I got one of these. We'll see how it works. Got me one of those. Got me a new lighter. Yeah, so that's that. And then they have this nifty little lounge down there. I sat there, charged my phone. But all the other hikers are outside sitting. But there's Wi-Fi in here, so thought I would just hang here for a little bit. Oh, look, beef jerky if I felt the need. Oh, you know what else? There's a refrigerator. I got some cheese single things because cheese is yummy and it's certainly cold enough to keep it. All right, well, I just wanted to show you. And you know what? I'm hoping that, I feel really bad. I wanted to take a picture of the place okay, ready? For lunch, I ate 2 pulled pork sandwiches. Yes, 2. They were delicious. The pulled pork, I guess, is done by the restaurant up the street, which had an hour wait, and I wasn't sure my food would come by the time I had to leave at 4. But now, I really, 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 really wish I had gotten a picture of it because those ladies were super nice. Say hi to my family and friends. And these are the folks that I will be spending the night at the shelter with. Okay, closing out for now. And this is Eva, who had to endure my mood the night my tent broke. Now she's gotten to see I'm actually a nice person. This is where I got the best pulled pork of the trail. I ordered 2 of them.
Yeah, and that's why.
Glutton is what I am. Goodbye, pit stop.
We're all gluttons in ultra.
And the folks were absolutely fabulous. The ladies there couldn't have been better. And the woman I sat next to at the bar was super nice. Oh, look, we're going to get an even better picture.
Hey!
Woo! Okay, I just had to show you this. This shelter, I'm at the Fontana Dam shelter, but hikers have named it the Fontana Dam Hilton. And honest to God, it is like, it may as well be. I think this beats any hotel I could have stayed in tonight. This is my view. They have this whole picnic area. I'm sure people come up here who aren't through hiking, but it's right on the trail. There's the trash, so you can unload your trash. There's some folks. They have this. It's not uber efficient, but it has charged my phone some, so I'm very grateful. But it's like this power-up solar charging station, so electricity. We've got potable water right here, no having to filter it. It's right there, like modern day plumbing. This is the shelter itself. It's huge. It sleeps a lot. It's how they let me pull it back a little. So you know how they're three-sided. Well, this one is like 3 3/4, right? I would say. Well, I guess it goes through. So the wind does travel through, so it could get a little nippy. But see, so the areas, though, here it is, go deep, right? They're deep in there. So I think we're gonna be very, very comfortable. I'm counting on it anyway. And it's huge, right? And then, if that's not enough, I'm not going to go up there, but up this area here, there are bathrooms with flushable toilets, faucets for water, and I took a hot shower. It was the most beautiful thing ever. So, yeah, the Fontana Hilton. I'm all about it. You know what? For $150, I could have stayed in town. Wouldn't have got this view. Might have been a little warmer. I'll give you that. I am already in all my layers. So it might be a little nippy of a night, but I don't care. This, I'm sorry. This, no, I'm not sorry. I am not sorry. This beats a $150 room. This is insane. All right. I'm gonna put my phone back on the charger because I'm at 80%. I want to top it off. I'm heading into the Smokies tomorrow morning. I'm probably gonna spend about 5 nights there. And then if I can get a spot, there's a hostel called Standing Bear Hostel that's just outside the Smokies. So it'll be 5 nights, 6 days in the Smokies. And then I'll be walking out of the Smokies and hopefully stay in a hostel where I can shower, charge devices, resupply a little bit of food. Also, there's talk about taking a field trip to Gatlinburg. A bunch of people are talking about it. They have shuttles that will get you in there. So, if that's feasible for me, if that works out, I may do that. It sounds fun. So what I have to look forward to at the Smokies, I keep panning this because it's just so beautiful and I'm talking anyway. But what I have to look forward to in the Smokies is about 2.5 days of brutal elevation gain. You have to go all the way up. And then from what I am told, I'm going to kind of just walk the ridge. It'll go up and down, but nothing like the climb for the first 2 days. The first 2 days is just straight up from what I understand. Okay. And then we come down. So we'll see. I'll take video, but from what I understand, there's very, very little, very unreliable cell service. And so I'm probably gonna have my phone off the whole time just so that I won't waste battery. All right, I'm gonna be brushing my teeth soon. My teeth soon. And I'm calling it a night. But all the hikers are hanging out, but it's getting late, so it's getting cold. All right. Good night. Talk to you later.
I think we were lucky. The one time we were like shipping to carry a boat back and forth. Somebody came to the other side when we were just arriving the first time. We're like, oh, yay, you can take the boat back. I mean, how close do you need to be? I'm pretty sure I saw something floating down there. We could go